is real. Listen.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Paranormal Reports. I am Ray, and welcome back to this, one of the shortest series on my channel, the Silver Screen Facade. This is episode number 6, and this series is about Hollywood and the dark secrets amongst the Walk of Fame and all that, and what things are going on in that creepy world, as they say. So if you enjoy it, please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, hit that notification bell so you don't ever miss an episode of mine, and also share to your friends. And in the meantime, I'm going to try and see if I can get an intro going from this on separately. So that's why you got an original intro to this one. So don't worry, I'll get one sorted. But yeah, so tonight we're going to be discussing about a child star, as you can see, the Hollywood child star curse. So basically, this is to do with child actors that basically could act Hollywood, but couldn't come with the pressures, basically, because of all the things that were going on at the time, like peer pressure, bloody pills, dieting, all that. So yeah, that's what I said. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit that like button. And subscribe if you haven't already. So we're gonna start off with someone who is one of the most famous people on this list. Well, she's one of the most famous because she was in the original Wizard of Oz. And can anyone tell me who that is? Give you a few minutes. If you guessed Judy Garland, you're correct. This is Judy Garland, like I said, from the original Wizard of Oz. She got subjected to intense pressure when she was in Hollywood from a young age, especially from Metro Goldwyn Mayer or MGM. And she was reportedly given amphetamines every time to keep her energetic and bubbly, and to help her sleep and that she was given barbiturates. So basically, this was the Hollywood studios stranglehold on her to control her weight and maintain her performance levels regularly, and it led her to an addiction, sadly, all them, and she passed away at age 47, as you know, with an accidental overdose, and yeah, it's really sad, really, what happened to her. 47. And she would have still been around to this stuff. She would have still been around to this day, but she would have lasted, I think, another 20, 30 years possibly. She died only 12 days after her 47th birthday in 1969. Sad. It is sad as hell what happened to her. Now we go to someone who's had a bit of an up and down time. Who's finally getting how should I say, on the right side of his thing now. But he did get alcohol the alcohol did control him at some stage. And if I'll give you a little clue here, he was a childhood star of Uncle Buck, My Girl, and Home Alone. So I know you have a guess how is that enough detail for you all? Right. There he is. It's Macaulay Culkin. Macaulay Culkin, he does. He saw it doesn't contain pills. Sadly, it was marked by substance abuse and that happened later in his life. Obviously, the childhood fame and then the Michael Jackson stuff, and then his family didn't help matters because they was legal battles over his earnings that added immense stress to him and his brother Kieran, I presume. And Kieran would have also had to go through it. But as he grew older, he reportedly faced issues with drugs, alcohol, um, and obviously the ripple effect of his childhood fame had led him to mental health issues and substance abuse. Sadly, and he stepped back from Hollywood to reclaim his life, and and this is a decision that many childhood stars take. I mean, to avoid further damages from the pressures of that industry, which is crazy, you know. And yeah, I remember him in Home Alone and Home Alone 2, Uncle Buck, like I said, My Girl. He was gonna be one of the things rising like and I think he was gonna be around for a while, but then stuff happened sadly to him. And it's crazy, you know. You don't think, do you, what can happen, do you? Right. Now we're gonna go with someone who was the star on Nickelodeon. Hello everyone. We're now in the third one. Right here. Um Amanda Bynes. Yeah, she's not as she's less sadly had it like after her childhood fame happened, she got mental health issues, she got substance abuse like Macaulay and erratic behavior and hospital takings involved treatment with all kinds of psychiatric medication and they included mood stabilizers, prescription drugs to help her bipolar disorder, anxiety. And their story, as I highlighted, basically a big thing that mental health conditions that are either untreated or poorly managed can spiral and especially with the fame that she had from Nickelodeon and the public eye and obviously she put on weight as well because of it all and it's really sad to see, you know. Like, you know, one of them things that's crazy to me. So moving on from Amanda Bynes, we're going to go to another female actress who we know dabbled in illegal drugs side, but she's finally getting her life back on track, which is a good sign. And she's 38 now. This one, who I'm going to be referring to here. She started like Parent Trap, Mean Girls, Herbie Fully Loaded, all them. We are talking about the one and only Lindsay Lohan, who of course obviously had that famous lawsuit with GTA developers Rockstar Games when she said that when she said that parody person in the game can not Candy, it was who was it? Lacey Jones, that's it. Lacey Jones was basically based on her, but the people in New York in a court in New York said, nope, that you don't have enough evidence. Basically, throw it out. So she's basically gone through it all. Lindsay Lohan. But obviously we know that she's had multiple rehab stints, like many people who've had substance abuse. She's gone and detoxified herself multiple times, treatment with various prescription medication for addiction and mental health. But adult life has been plagued with struggle with drugs and alcohol, like Macaulay. But this she's also required medically specialized care. And she had to be supervised for all of it. Bless her. And she's one of the most famous ones on here that had one of the most famous downward spirals, I think. Because if ever you say to anyone, give me a childhood star that basically on a modern age who had a blooming spiral, Lindsay Lohan, I bet, would be the one of the only names people would say, which is crazy. So, but glad that she's on the mend now, though. At 30, she's 38 now, so she's getting back into films now. So it's showing that she's overcome it and she's kind of slowly come back into the limelight, and which is a good sign. So now we go to star of the Goonies and other films. This man has seen his fair share of struggles as well. And like I said, the Goonies he was a part of. He was also a part of other films, but I remember him from the Goonies. We have Corey Feldman. Corey Feldman, everyone. And he's been very open whenever anyone's asked him about his battles with his drug addiction. And it began in his teenage years, which is a sad thing as well. Amid traumatic abuse that he suffered. And although there's no specific like drug that he said he was taking, but he said that he was on opioids and other drugs. That's what I'm saying. There were no other drugs listed for him when I done my research. And but his revelations about his abuse cast a long shadow over his early career. But he's also been a very strong advocate for exploitation, against exploitation in Hollywood, and that to try and stop it happening to other people. which is fair play to him, man. He's been open about, like I said, he's been open about his drug battles. Like he's dealing with them. He's running, he's campaigning against the Hollywood elite to try and stop the exploitation of child stars, and it's mental. But fair play to Corey. Wish we had more people like Corey in the world. Fair play, man. Now we're gonna go with someone else who you're gonna be like, ooh, what? Why is this one on here? Well, this is the late. Well, I say late because she's like she died in 2014, 11 years ago. Um, but she was one of the most famous childhood stars of her generation. Um, she was in like Fort Apache with John Wayne. She was in like Little Colonel, Little Princess. We're talking about someone very, very famous for her generation. Like she's like up there with Judy Garland for this generation. We're going to be talking about Shirley Temple now, everyone. Shirley Temple. Boom. The one and only Shirley Temple. So basically, Shirley, she was protected to a great extent than most child stars, but but she she decided to go a step away from Hollywood. Though she was one of the ones that, even though she weren't like taking drugs or being in a thing, she decided I need to get away from Hollywood because I can see it, what it is for what it's like. And she went into politics. She decided to become a politician, and that's where she stayed. And fair play to her for just seeing it early and going, "Well, I've done my bit now. I'm going to move into something else." She went into be a politician, which is a fucking amazing move. Well done, Shirley. Fair play to the lass. Not many would say that a transition from acting to politician. um, now, now we have someone who passed away aged 42, and he was the star of Different Strokes, and basically I could do two for one here if I wanted to, because his co-star died before he did. Hang on, I've got to get her name. It's Dana something, I think, if I remember correctly. And I'll tell you. Yeah, Dana Plateau. Judging by that, you'll think you'll know straight away what I'm referring to here. Gary Coldman, famous for his was one of the catchphrases on the show of "What you talking about, Willis?" He passed away sadly at age 42, and yeah, like Dana Plateau, his co-star on Different Strokes, who went and basically went into drugs and everything, and went into like adult films before she passed away. Bless her. Gary basically was on pills during his childhood acting, and but he had chronic kidney disease. Bless him. And he required really regular medical checkups and treatment, and he needed some medication. But he faced personal and financial hardships later on in his life, and it's sad to see that because of that, and he passed away because of the condition that he had. Yeah, it might not be drugs or whatever, but it's sad to see that someone like him wasn't around for longer because he made people laugh back in the day. So it's kind of crazy. Um, but not as crazy, everyone, that you're gonna think. Right. Because the next person, look, see, there's him in different strokes, look. Look. So basically, yeah, he had to go through it all. But the next actress is someone who's actually got her own talk show now in America. And yeah, she's doing pretty well for herself. She turned her life around. Um she's also now widely known as being very open and talking about her struggles. Um, and you're going, well, so who do you think I'm on about? She was in 51st Dates with Adam Sandler. She was in Charlie's Angels, and she was in a few other films, especially when she was younger. She was in I think she was, if I remember correctly, she was in um Poltergeist. No, she was in Scream, and she was in the wedding scene. Donnie Darko blended, but yeah, she was in a lot of films. Um, especially when she was younger, like in the horror franchises. So you're probably wondering, who am I on about here, right? And the answer is, I'm on about the one and only da 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 Drew Barrymore. When I can get the right screen up, like an idiot. There we are. Drew Barrymore. No, not Michael Barrymore. For all the ones in here in the UK, we're not talking about Michael. We're talking about Drew. This is Drew Barrymore. Um, basically, she's had a life that is crazy. She got severe drug and alcohol abuse beginning at a very young age. When she was 9, she had alcohol problem, cocaine problem, and although the substance use was recreational, so to speak, um, the drugs controlled her life and nearly destroyed her before she went into rehab. In her teens, and she went through proper. She survived. She was her story like one of survival against a self-medicated descent, and basically she, bless her, she went through Lorena. Like, not only did she go through like terrible like drug and abuse and everything, um, yeah, she went through it all, man. She at age 14 she decided to become emancipated. Um, so basically, it's to take that's if you don't know what emancipated is. She basically took freedom away. Um, she got her own freedom from her parents and everything, and she went and lived in her own apartment at the age of 15, which is nuts, though. But fair play to her for turning her life around. She now hosts a talk show, like I said. So fair play to Drew. You know, who would have drew that one up, hey? No, that's a bad pun. Right, you know, point still six. Right. So now we're going to go on to another actor, and this one is one of the most strange, like one of the most famous, um, because he's only just so only 24 hours ago he was spotted for the first time since a DUI arrest. Funny enough, as I'm talking about this man, which is crazy. He was in Forrest Gump. He was in Sixth Sense? Question mark. Yeah, Sixth Sense, and he was in AI, artificial intelligence. If you don't know what I'm on about, it's the boy from them. Um, Haley Joel Osment. I'm going to show you a picture now if you don't remember. There he is. That's how he was, and that's how he is now. So yeah, you're wondering what went wrong for this fella. Basically, he's after his childhood thing he was fine, and then like many after the childhood phase, the substance issues came up later, and they were treated in private, and but now you hear him he's a DUI arrest like recently. Yeah, he's been through a little ringer. So I remember him in Sixth Sense, and when he ushers that line, "I see dead people." It's like crazy, and obviously, I won't spoil it too much for people if you ain't seen it, but you should have because it's an amazing film. The ending is crazy, but it's expected. But yeah, insane. Haley Joel Osment, everyone. Like, what the hell, you know? Now we're gonna have someone who won an Oscar in 1974 for bless her. And that person is Tatum O'Neal. If you're wondering who Tatum O'Neal is, everyone, I will tell you. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, all that good stuff, and hit the notification bell. So make sure you do all that. So basically, Tatum O'Neal's story is a weird one. She had childhood drugs for like very young, and it involved alcohol and cocaine, like Drew Barrymore. But this was by her early teens, all this, and she had multiple rehab stints. That involved medication to manage her withdrawal symptoms, mental health issues, and her family's dysfunction, and that. And her early fame contributed to self-medication. So it's a weird one out for dysfunction in the family. Then she had all them drugs and alcohol at an early age, and then she died. It's like, whoa, you know. Now we're gonna go with a positive move. Now we've got right. We're gonna go with someone who you're gonna wonder what happened to him. Well, I'll show him with his on-screen dad. Jack Nicholson, everyone, and Lloyd Davis. Can you connect the film? Or Danny Lloyd, I should say. Not Lloyd Davis, fucking idiot, right? Danny Lloyd. Can you question can you make the connection? Johnny. That's the line that might clinch it for you. It is, of course, The Shining. The Shining. This guy played Jack Nicholson's son, which is crazy. But it's been a happy life for him mainly. He left the industry very young. And then he went to go into a normal private life because he just couldn't deal with it. I don't think he wanted to be brought up in Hollywood, and who could blame him? But yeah, Fair play to him, though. But look, he looks well, though. He does look very well for his age. Look, look. Yeah, look. He was also in Goonies. Look, it's nuts, though, isn't it? Very nuts. But fair play to Danny. Fair play to Danny for So now we're going to go with another person who stepped away from the um limelight at a young age, and you're wondering, all right, so who is this person? Well, it is someone who is actually, which is crazy. Someone who's show that made him famous um is actually getting a reboot at this present time, and that is Malcolm in the Middle's Eric Purse Sullivan. Eric Purse Sullivan. Look, this man just basically moved. He just basically left the acting to go and have a private, quiet life, because he just, because why else would you want to stay there? He probably thought to himself, I see what's happening here. I see what's happened to people, So I thought I'd get away with it, and get out while I can, which is nuts. Um, but fair play to him, and fair play to him having a quiet life. Now we're going to be going to someone who was in Miracle on 34th Street, Matilda, Mrs. Doubtfire, and yeah, she was a child star, and yeah, it was nuts what happened with her. We're going to be looking at Mara Wilson, like So yeah, that's what she looked like, if you remember, and that's what she looks like now. Um, so what happened to her? That's probably what you're asking. She had struggled with anxiety, depression, and she used prescription medication as per her treatment when she became an adult, and that. And I found out another woman's story about Mara Wilson actually. Um, hang on. Her mother was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she died when Wilson was 8. And the film Matilda is obviously in her memory. And it affected her interest in acting after her mum passed away, bless her. And in that trail, she was diagnosed with OCD and attention deficit ADHD, basically hyperactive. You know, mm. So that kind of didn't help. But I read somewhere that I believe Danny DeVito, who was on the thing with who was the director of or something of Matilda. They actually done something nice for her, I believe. Um, yeah, there you go. When she died of breast cancer, Mara's mother, just before the movie came out, um, so before the movie came out, obviously, Danny and his wife Rhea took care of Mara during the filming when her mum was in hospital. But and I even let her see the film. I think they got her the film done early. Like I told she could see it before she passed. And after the film was done, she went to live with her dad. It's kind of touching, really. You know, good old Danny DeVito, man. He didn't have to do it, you know, but he chose to step up and do it. You know, didn't have to do it, but he chose to step up and do it. Amazing. Fair play to Danny DeVito, eh? Fair play. Right. Now we're gonna go with someone who was a like a meme on Family Guy, actually. For a while. For right. He said he quit because he wasn't a good actor, but he was in Jerry Maguire, Stuart Little, and all that, right? We're talking about now a certain Jonathan. Jonathan Lipnicki. So there's Jonathan Lipnicki as a child. Obviously, you probably would like, I remember him from Stuart Little and all that. That's him now. And he basically struggled with mental health and identity beyond being a child star. And it kind of like, you know, didn't help him, you know, but he said he wasn't a good actor, like I said, and he decided that's why he wanted to step away. But was it like when they say was it that? But did he see something that he shouldn't have, and he thought, "Fuck it, I'm not gonna do this anymore," or was it like a case of I can't see myself doing this any longer? You know, fair play to him though. If he did see, oh yeah, I don't think I'm a good child actor. I can't see myself staying in this field. You know, but obviously another name that basically people wonder what the hell um what the hell happened to him, right? They said right was that was this I'll tell you because this one actually shocked me because I didn't even I knew of him, but I because cause obviously I know the Mighty Ducks, but I for the life of me I swear he was still in like Hollywood somewhere doing like or even if he's just doing B movies, you know. But you're wondering who I'm on about. I know. Boom. Brandon Adams. And there he was in the Mighty Ducks. He stepped away from the limelight because he he just wanted a life away from Hollywood. Basically, he saw a glimpse of it and he thought, nah, I don't want to have it, you know. And it tells us I know that when these child stars who can get out things without arm or mental health issues, sadly, or anxiety, depression, stuff like that. If they can get out without anything, they escape with it's like luck, basically. So yeah, he stepped away. If you know any others, let me know, because I know if there are 15 of people that I've know off the top of my head, and it's nuts basically when you think about it, like nuts. Which one is your favourite though? Let me know in the comments which you was your surprise about. Mine would be the Mara Wilson, like not because I know but basically I knew about her mum dying, cancer, all that, but because of the Danny DeVito bit. Danny DeVito's a legend, man. Fair play to him though for helping her when and with her mum and that. But and they still keep in contact apparently. I've also found out, so good on him. But yeah, let me know in the comments, everyone, what you think was your Let me know in the comments what your favorite was. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, all that good jargon, and I'll see you next time when tomorrow it will be, and I'll be doing a gaming live, hopefully. So tune in for that. All that good jargon. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Big love to you all. And remember, if your child, if you're a childhood star, I was unforgiving at times. Hopefully, you can get a clean break like some of these childhood stars eventually. If you don't want to be there. Bye, everyone. Take care.